Hi, and welcome to another episode of Grit and Grace Leadership Talks with myself, Kate Taylor. I am so excited to have a special guest with me today. Her name is Amanda Tipping. She is the General Manager of Pink Elephant Support Network. It's a charity that's close to my heart personally because of my journey with what I've been through, but also I think it's something that can relate to a lot of women. So I've got Amanda with us today. I'm going to ask her some amazing questions about her journey in her career, how she's got to where she is, and share about our heart behind this cause and what the charity is all about. So welcome, Amanda Tipping.
Hi, Kate. How you going?
Hi. Thanks for coming on today. I'm very excited to have you today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it's so amazing that we get to connect like this. We've obviously been in touch quite a lot through social media, and then over the last year with business connections and collaborating and charity stuff. So it's really exciting to have you on today.
Yeah, no, thank you. And we have met face to face, which I
Yes.
can't say that for many of the people within my working life because the remote working these days and everyone located across Australia. But I've been very fortunate to meet you personally, which is so great.
I know you're amazing coming to my 10-year of business, Taylor Cares business event. So that was really exciting, our anniversary. So very special milestone in business, and I'm glad you could be part of it.
Oh, thank you.
So I've got obviously a few questions for you, and I would love it if you could share with everyone what you do as the general manager to start your day with success. What's your kind of daily morning routine that you get up to?
Yeah, no worries. And look, I mean, if I'm honest, I'm sure many people would agree not every day is set up for success.
True.
I'm a working mom and my husband travels extensively for work. So most mornings we just kind of go with the flow. I am very lucky and fortunate that my role is remote. So my home office, so I don't really have to travel far. It's dropping the kids off to school 5 minutes down the road and coming back and being able to sit down and have a cup of tea in peace with the cats before the day starts. But nice. I do try and do, yeah, it is nice. I do try and do some group fitness training in the morning, just down at the beach. And in the warmer months, I did start to jump in the ocean after a training session, which for me, if anyone knows me well, and my husband will attest to this, I'm not a water baby in any way, shape or form.
Okay.
But I forced myself to get in, and just that almost rebirthing of the mind and body and soul after having a really good workout and just going under the water and coming out really set me up for the day. And I really actually miss that in these cold months. Look, I know I could get in the ocean still, but it's not going to happen.
People still do.
No, crazy. But
in a wetsuit, maybe.
Not really, no. Once I get the kids after school, I try not to have meetings until around 10 a.m. most days because I like to kind of do my prep in the morning and really set myself up for success. I know there's a lot of people who are morning people, but I'm probably not one of them. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's so important. I just have gone for a morning swim this morning at the gym, was feeling a little tired, tried to go to bed a bit earlier so I could exercise before work. But when I do, I feel so much more energetic and I always feel better for it. Like it sets you up in the right mindset for your day, doesn't it?
100%. And you kind of just have to force yourself to get to that point. And it is all about creating positive habits as well. So yeah, we get there. And look, we don't, succeed all the time, but just as long as we try, then that's all we can do.
I try a few days a week.
Yeah, good on you. You do better than me sometimes.
Oh. So obviously you've been on a journey being a career mum and juggling everything and getting involved with Pink Elephant. I'd love to know your kind of career path and what got you into the charity sector and obviously working your way up recently to the general manager position.
Yeah, no, thanks. So I feel extremely fortunate, I just want to say, in my career to date. Not saying I haven't worked hard for what I've got and where I am now, but I just feel like a few milestones are probably that kind of right place, right time, or the universe has just aligned for me. So I'm really grateful for that. I guess if I go back to my uni days, I studied a Bachelor of Communications in PR and Marketing at the University of Canberra and held down between 2 and 3 casual jobs while studying. And one of those casual jobs was, and I lived at home as well, so I didn't need the money, but it was just that, I guess, drive for keeping busy. But one of the casual jobs I had was working for an organisation called the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Australia. So they're the membership body for chartered accountants, known as Chartered Accountants Australia, New Zealand. So it was a casual event administrator role, and I pretty much just went along to various venues around Canberra and registered people for their monthly tax update. How exciting was that?
Somewhere.
Yeah, look, it actually got me interested in event management and things like that. So when I moved to Sydney, I actually applied for a role at Chartered Accountants for a full-time job and got a job there as an event coordinator. And so for the next 15 odd years, which it kind of makes, me feel old that I was there for that long, but I know that stability was really good as well. But for around 15 years, I had about half a dozen or so different roles within chartered accountants, and secondments and anything from event management roles to secondments into learning and development roles. And then my last role there was a business operations manager role. But what kind of now leads to the charity aspect? One of the things I was extensively involved with at Chartered Accountants was working on their workplace giving program. I was on the steering committee to set up the workplace giving program, and I remained on the program throughout the years I was there and was quite connected into one of their key charities called Reach Out, amazing charity as well. I did some, City to Surf runs with them. I just was their main contact, and it really gave me the insights into the world of charities and what that for-purpose organisation could do and the impact you could have. So that kind of gave me the desire to move into that sector, but I also didn't want to leave Chartered Accountants. So I got the little push I needed as my role got made redundant back in 2018. So it was a blessing in disguise, really. So I do want to mention as well, during this time, the last few years, I also was the director of our own business, which was a car carrying company. We had a prime mover and that went up the coast of east coast of Australia, etc. So in terms of like that business acumen and running your own business and just the little intricacies with like doing your BAS and things like that, that also helped me with where I am now too. So back in 2018, when I was made redundant, I actually had a good friend, her name was Kate as well, great name, who connected me in with this charity and the CEO there, Samantha Payne at Pink Elephants. I had a great chat with her, and Sam had a volunteer role she could give me with a potential to be paid down the track. And I was super excited and keen to start. But as the world goes, I did get a full 4-day-a-week paid role at another charity, which I just couldn't turn down. So Sam and I kind of parted ways for the time being, and I still connected in with what Pink Elephants was doing. So I started a role at Marta Foundation up in Brisbane as their corporate partnerships manager. And Marta's a really large charity in the charity world. They fund around, I think they bring in around $100 million in revenue each year. They support the hospitals across Queensland. So really big charity, awesome charity as well. Loved working for them. But we moved back to Sydney. Yes, I've moved around a lot. And I couldn't keep working for a Queensland-based charity. So I reached back out to Samantha Payne and just sent her an email around late 2020, so during COVID time, and we reconnected. She called me straight away. I think it was like a day or two before Christmas. And she said to me, we'd love to have you come on board. I did have a kind of mini interview with their COO at the time. And I got a part-time role as their partnership director working on their workplace program. So my start at Pink Elephants, and just progressed working mostly on our workplace workplace support program. And then Sam in 2022 had a beautiful baby, Rose, who came into this world, and someone needed to kind of run the charity. So I became acting CEO for about 8 months of that time that Sam went away and had parental leave.
Oh, wow.
Massive to fill. I mean, I know you know Sam too. Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes. No pressure.
Exactly. But when Sam returned at the end of 2022, it was kind of a natural fit for me to just, keep my role expanded, and I got the new title as general manager. So that's, I guess, my journey to being at Pink Elephants today. And I just absolutely feel very privileged every day that I get to speak and raise awareness about what we do.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, it's such a cool journey to hear, like, people that have come from, say, the corporate world and want to get into the charity space, that they could do that too. And, sometimes it involves getting involved with a volunteer program or fundraising or doing an event or something to kind of make your mark, I think, in the space, to then be able to go into a role that eventually could get paid, right? So I think it's important for people to remember that like, even if you come from the corporate world, you might have worked your way up quite high, but you have to kind of sometimes take a few steps back to go a few steps forward if you want to change industries or professions. So it's a good reminder for people to, realize that, you can all work your way up in any field, but you sometimes have to take that kind of stepping stone roles to get to the role that you're in. So that's really inspiring.
Yeah, no, thanks. And I will just say that it's that the flexibility and things that you get, when you become a working mum, you kind of your priorities might change a little bit, and so you do need to kind of take that into consideration too. Yeah,
definitely. And I guess that kind of brings me to asking around, what does Pink Elephant specialize in, and why? And I guess we can talk about why I got connected with it as well. But I'd love to hear about you share about some information about Pink Elephant Charity.
Yeah, no, thanks, Kate. So Pink Elephants has been around for about 7 years now, and we're a charity that supports anyone who's impacted by early pregnancy loss. So that's a loss of a baby prior to 20 weeks gestation. We're purely digital-based charity, so you can access us. The great thing is, if you're regional, remote, rural Australia, even anywhere around the world, really, you can access our resources. We've got plenty of resources, information, and most importantly, which I know you have lots of experience in accessing, Kate, is our beautiful peer support companion network. We offer access to these individuals through live chat and personalised phone calls, and all these beautiful individuals have lived experience of early pregnancy loss as well, and they can hold your hand virtually during a really difficult time. I guess just to kind of overlay, going back a bit from what got me interested in Pink Elephants too, I've got my own lived experience of early pregnancy loss. We had to unfortunately terminate a pregnancy back in 2017. Our baby had severe spina bifida. So it's called a TFMR, a termination for medical reasons. We did go on to, thanks for that. We did go on to have our beautiful rainbow baby, Frankie, which I'm forever grateful for, because I know that not everyone does get this. But I guess just to have my own personal story, be able to work for such an amazing organisation to, once again, spread that awareness and remove the stigma around it as well.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's the thing. It's like sometimes our wounds show us what we care about, right? And when we've gone through pain and suffering, it makes us realize what matters and what's important. And creating that awareness for a cause that you care about is so important. Obviously, as we've connected as well, I've had my own journey with lived experience as well, with multiple losses in the last few years. And it's been quite a journey for me. And I'm someone that's very proactive in my wellbeing and mental health, but it rocked me to my core each time. And I think for me, it's made me realize that I needed more support than what I had, even though I have a psychologist. I have, I'm an Are You OK ambassador, so I'm involved with them. I have EAP support there, all of that. But I was like, no, I need someone that specializes in pregnancy loss, because I felt like no one quite got it like someone that's gone through it. And being able to access the peer support service was just amazing for me, especially as I've gone through each pregnancy loss, to be able to kind of just book a session on the website at a time that suits me, and then someone's available to talk to me. I found so invaluable. And I was lucky enough to have one of the ladies that was actually training to be a counsellor that also worked for Pink Elephant.
Yeah, so, you did, yeah.
So that really helped me understand grief and loss, understand why I was feeling the way I was, understand why my husband was reacting the way he did too. And so that, and how friends and family were reacting as well. We all go through a loss. It's like not just you that's physically going through it, but everyone around you that loves and cares for you is mourning that loss with you. And I guess there's not a lot of support around, or I feel it's still very taboo topic. So I'm, trying to do what I can in my world to raise awareness to this and the work of Pink Elephant. And more recently, I did the bereavement support program that you guys also offer, which is a 6-week program with a trained counselor. And I was able to connect with some beautiful women, all on Zoom. It was like 12 of us, I think, across the country. So only a few can get selected, but we were able to meet every Monday for an hour and a half. And it was just that kind of sacred space to kind of give us that breather and that kind of recognition and kind of time to process our losses and be around other women who've gone through it too, right? So I found that just really powerful to know that we're not alone in this journey, and that we do have a sisterhood of women, whether we want to be in the club or not, we're in the club. So,
you don't have a choice, do you? No, it doesn't discriminate, unfortunately. And it is that, wanting no one to walk the journey of early pregnancy loss alone, which you put so beautifully.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like I didn't want to feel alone, so I kind of initially I connected actually with your Facebook group, which has been really helpful to connect with women. And then I've actually made some really good friends through that group too.
Oh, wonderful.
We stay in touch on Messenger, and as we're going for different fertility treatments or blood tests or whatever. We kind of message each other and say, this is what I'm dealing with today, or this is getting ready for IVF or whatever they're doing. And I just find that so powerful to have like 2 or 3 women that are kind of objective, but also get what you're going through and are on the journey as well, that have gone through multiple.
Yeah, they're right there with you. And look, your partner, your spouse, whoever your family, friends that you're going along this with too, they're there to support you also. But the support of someone who's going through it and had that lived experience and can really get you is just a whole nother level of support that we just find invaluable in our community.
Yeah, it's really powerful, I think, that lived experience lens, I guess. And that's why Sam started the charity, right? Because she went through her own journey with this too. And I feel like, in the medical world, we're kind of it's kind of dismissed, I feel, from my experience. Pregnancy loss is like, come on, just get back on the horse, try again. You'll be right. Your body can get going again. And it's like, no, but they have no idea about the impact in your emotional well-being and your mental health. And that's been the thing that's kind of surprised me the most, is that I thought after COVID and with everyone being so aware of well-being and mental health now, like, how is this so dismissed by the medical profession?
And look, I will say that there are improvements happening. We've got a long way to go, but it is really, there's some that are better than others too. It's, if I go back again to like regional and rural Australia, there's definitely some issues out there, and just in terms of how the medical system works. And if you do have to, for example, have a D&C, in the medical system, and where you have to be located from the hospital for that to happen within a timely manner, and there's lots of other complications as well. But the empathy piece is huge, and we need the medical industry to understand, and healthcare professionals, that they may see a number of people who are going through early pregnancy loss each and every day. However, to that individual, that was their baby, and they're grieving the loss of their baby.
Yeah, and I think I often find myself talking to GPs and sonographers and all sorts when I go for testing, saying, go to Pink Elephant, tell your clients if they do come. And because I think a lot of them don't know kind of what the right thing is to say, because everyone processes it differently, right? Like when you're in shock and you're having that scan and there's no heartbeat, it's like, must be the worst news to have to deliver to someone that was so hopeful for this to be their baby. And so, and a lot of trauma is linked to, even for me, going to have those scans now because of 100%. The bad news that I've received. And so I'm very sensitive now where I go, because I feel like certain clinics were not very sensitive with it and others were. And to be able to just say, look, I'm sorry for your loss, but here's a service that can help you. Like,
Yeah.
they might not
have
have
so
the right
simple
words.
though, doesn't it? It's
Sounds
so
simple.
logical because we've been through it. We understand that that's what's needed, but there's just so many organisations out there in healthcare practices that don't have that. And we do hope to improve that over the years to come. Create that true healthcare referral pathway for those going through loss, because they deserve it. Like, you guys deserve it.
Yeah, and I think it's so beautiful. And like, I was able to, I'm very, proactive, I guess, and looked up, services that could help me. And so that's how I came across Pink Elephant. But yeah, I definitely recommend people, if you have a friend or family member that's going through loss, or you're going through it yourself, please check out Pink Elephant website, check out their Facebook group, and get connected, because you're not alone. This is not a journey you should be suffering on your own or feel like shame or isolation about, because it's nothing that you've done wrong. You couldn't, like, your body is doing what it's meant to do in that situation. And you've just got to be really kind to yourself and give yourself that self-care and love that you deserve, and honor your baby. I think that was the biggest thing with the bereavement program. Was I'd never really thought, because I lost them all before 12 weeks, that I thought, oh, I didn't need to do like a big memorial or kind of acknowledging the losses. I've had 4. And so for me, I was like, when I did the bereavement program, they talked about that, and they said, what would you want to do to honor your babies? And the thing that came to me was to release some helium balloons at the beach into the sky, to heaven, and also to write a message to them in a bottle. And I threw that into the ocean. And that was something really symbolic for me and really healing, to be able to kind of honor them. And now I know if I'm missing them, I can go to that place where I release those balloons and remember them. So yeah, it's really beautiful if we can find a way to do that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's really special, Kate. And I think everyone finds their own way of honouring their babies that have passed. And, we can help with that too. We've got some ideas, I guess, on our website that we can share with you. But once again, joining those Facebook online communities, you get the access to individuals who have been through the loss as well. And they can let you know, like what you just beautifully did, what they did to honor their baby. So, sharing ideas and is extremely important. And I guess, touching on the statistics around it, I mean, we believe that it's around 1 in 4 or as high as 1 in 3 pregnancies end in loss, an early pregnancy loss. So once again, a loss before 20 weeks gestation. And if we equate that to some higher numbers, that's 1 every 5 minutes in Australia. So already we've been talking for 20 minutes, and that's a number of babies already lost. Worldwide, we're talking around 23 million a year, which is just an incredible statistic, which really it's quite sad to hear that. But as you said, Kate, like it's our bodies it's no one's fault that this is happening, and it's unfortunate. And there will be medical studies and more research done around in this space in the years to come. But right now, we just need to be there to support those individuals going through it. And as you brought up before, around the stigma and taboo, like we need to talk more about it. We need to lean into these conversations and make sure workplaces, especially, have the right clear policies in place. With the right support tools, because if they don't have that, this poor individual that's going through a loss in their grief bubble, if they walk in and not sure what, do I have to take sick leave, or am I allowed to take paid leave? Like, what's actually on offer? If that's clear and you have the right people leaders in place to, have these right conversations, to offer that support, the connection, the validation that they need, the individual's mental health outcomes going to improve. They'll want to come back to work after as well. So there's this massive roll-on effect that we need to consider also about this whole stigma and taboo around early pregnancy loss, especially in the workplace as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's really a good point. And I think I would love to know what other suggestions you might have for workplaces that want to support women like us who have gone through pregnancy loss or going through IVF treatment or, that kind of thing. What what things have you seen workplaces do that works really well, or any suggestions that you might have for workplaces wanting to know what they can do better in this space?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's lots of things. If I'm cheeky enough to say, like, you can reach out to Pig Elephants. We do have a workplace support program where we've got a plethora of bespoke licensing resources and content that we can provide to organisations across Australia. We've got I think we support around 160,000 employees currently with the program.
Wow.
Within that, we run events as well, and we can also offer some policy updating help and do some peer support companion training within the workplace. But I guess if, the program is kind of the next step for some organisations, the step before is really about that. Think about those individuals who are going through that loss. If they've shared that with you, they're grieving their baby. If you, for example, have someone in your workplace who let you know that their grandma or grandfather, for example, passed away, and you've sent them some flowers or sent them a card, or, you saying to them, I'm sorry for your loss, gave them the validation. Do the same thing for someone who's going through an early pregnancy loss. It's not that hard. If someone shares with you that they've had a loss, validate that their loss matters, say you're sorry for their loss, that you're here for them, help them understand what policies, what leave options are in place. In Australia, we've got the Fair Work Act, we've got the 2 days bereavement compassionate leave that Pink Elephants helped advocate for and get passed a number of years ago. So the 2 days are there for you. We know that's not enough, but it's a starting point. And we do see a number of large and small organisations across Australia start leading the way with the benchmark around what they offer in the space of leave for early pregnancy loss. So research shows that people are wanting between 5 and 7 days paid leave. Compassionate leave. We've seen organisations give up to 12 weeks. Now, we're not expecting everyone to do that, but that in itself just shows that individual that, once again, your loss matters. So really, workplaces, if I can give that, it's that validation piece is the biggest, because you're going to have someone returning to work who's felt supported and heard throughout their journey. Other things I can note is around, that flexible working arrangement. Maybe they want to work from home for a little bit because the medical procedure, they might need to actually have a bit of time off to rest. There might be some other dates, trigger dates for them that'll come up. So around the time that their baby might have been born, or the time that, around Mother's Day, which obviously we've just had, and we do lots of kind of communication around that as well. So just think of those dates. If there's going to be a pregnancy announcement that is coming up in the team, maybe take that individual aside who's had the loss recently and let them know, and give them the option to maybe work from home that day, or, just really be there for them. And once again, validate and make sure that that their loss also mattered.
Yeah, it's so important, I think, and being someone that has been triggered by things when I didn't expect, like actually, being sensitive to that whole, if someone's making a pregnancy announcement, being sensitive, reaching out and letting them know a heads up prior, because then we can kind of prepare ourselves mentally for when that announcement happens, so that we can be happy for you. And I actually found I had a few friends have babies around the time some of my babies were due, and I found it really hard seeing their posts on Facebook and social media. And luckily they're friends that I've known a long time, have known me a long time. So I was able to be honest with them and just say, look, I'm really happy for you, but I'm really struggling right now, because that was when I was having a baby too. And your baby reminds me of what I don't have now. And so I've been lucky that my friends have been understanding, but I think actually being honest with that, like not being afraid to speak up and say that, because people are more understanding if you come with that place of vulnerability and just share like where you're at, so that they can support you too, and not take it personally that maybe you haven't been present or send a present or show that you care, because that's not our heart at all. But it sometimes could come across like that if someone didn't know what you've been through.
100%. I know when I went through my loss, and I found out on a Thursday that I was going to have to say goodbye to the baby, terminate the pregnancy. And the system I was in, I couldn't do the termination until a week later, unfortunately, and during that time I went to a first birthday party, I went to a wedding. So I was carrying around this baby that I knew I couldn't keep. And I was very clear and very open with all my friends about what I was going through. And the support I got was just invaluable. I mean, I'm not a believer in the 12-week rules. I never was. So, I know not everyone is, and that's fine. That's, it's for their own. But I felt that having that support, if I had not let people know that I was pregnant and then had to let them know, unfortunately, I was, and I've lost the baby, that would have been a harder conversation for me. So it's once again, it's about having that support circle around you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always think, like, tell the people in your world that you would have told anyway if you lose the baby. Like, don't before 12 weeks. Like, I always kind of had the rule of thumb of, like, if I was going to tell you anyway, if it happened or didn't happen, then I should tell you when I find out. Like, I don't know. So, like you said, I can't imagine having those conversations with those close family and friends and then them not even knowing you were pregnant and then you're telling them you're having a miscarriage. Like, would be a lot harder, I find. But yeah, I guess everyone's in their own journey and some are very private about it. So everyone's got to do what's right for them.
100%.
Yeah. And obviously in the work you do, you're hearing a lot of people's stories and probably at times that must bring up memories and feelings for you as well. How do you keep your well-being and mental health strong so that you can keep doing the work that you do and not get burnt out?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And I think it back to a few weeks ago, actually, it was TFMR Awareness Day. And I was on a podcast recording for that. And it actually was the day before I'd found out 7 years ago that I had to terminate my pregnancy. So that whole week was a massive trigger for me. But, you kind of have to rise above and be there to help raise that awareness for others. So yeah, it can be hard sometimes, and we do hear so many stories. We've got thousands of women in our community, and I read, when I get a shared story sent through the website, I read each and every one of them because I need to help that person feel validated again and understand their story and, want to share it if they want to share it too. But yeah, I guess in terms of mental health and wellbeing strategies, we're a very active family. So we try not to let each other's schedules impact what any of us want or need to do. My husband's training for his next half Ironman, so his schedule plus he's an executive. So he's, like I said, travels a lot. He's not home much. So with 2 young kids and juggling that, I don't let that impact me. I'll happily get a babysitter or a friend to come over and look after the kids if I need to. But I play netball on a Monday night, just a social group with women that I just met randomly. So they're not close friends or anything, but that's kind of a nice outlet from the beginning of the week. I do a beautiful art class with another group of friends who are local. I just finished my first major piece the other week of my 2 daughters sitting on I
saw that.
So on the jetty.
That's so beautiful. Yeah.
So I used to do art all the time and I just lost that. And so now this is that real creative outlet for me. You sit, you have your glass of wine and you chat and you paint and just enjoy the couple of hours of bliss, really. And on Fridays I try and do a reformer Pilates session, which is there's only a small group that goes, so it's 2 or 3 women at any particular time, so you really get that focused attention. And I think all those 3 things are my kind of key vices, I guess, to help me physically and mentally through the week. The other aspects as well that I do outside of Pink Elephants that helps me reset is being heavily involved in my school community. I'm on the PNC I'm the fundraising convener for the PNC. Help out with the canteen where I can. I attend all and any school events that happen, put my hand up wherever I can for things like that. And it does sound like more work, and it kind of is, but it's rewarding in a different way. And the great thing is that Pink Elephants, we know that family comes first. We know these moments you won't get back with your children. So take every moment that you can, go and watch your daughter run cross country or get an award in an assembly, and take those moments. So that's kind of that kind of reset moment for me. Whether it helps me be a good mum in a busier way, I don't know, but we'll try and do our best. And the kids are happy, and life is good. We live in a beautiful part. I'm in Kilcare on the Central Coast in New South Wales, and we've got this beautiful lifestyle here. So I can just walk out on my balcony and kind of breathe in the ocean and kind of reset as well, which can help too. But some weeks are better than others, as like life as it is for everyone. So
I know, that's great. And I think it's such a good balance to have that mum time, that work time, that health and fitness outlet, creative outlet. I think it's that mind, body and soul kind of stuff that you got to give yourself that time to do. And I take my hat off to any of the parents on those P&C committees, because I do not volunteer for those things, because I know I do not have the capacity. But the women that do, I'm like, you're my godsend. Those WhatsApp groups, I swear I would not be able to know what's going on at what day or what time or what fundraiser's going on if they didn't put it in the chat, because that's.
Oh, look, I get told, I'm like, I love a good spreadsheet, and I'm on two WhatsApp chat groups for kindergarten and year 3, and I'm the kind of rep for them as well. And it is like, some people go, how do you know all this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. And I probably miss things, and I do miss things. I'm only human, but someone's just got to take the lead sometime. And I'm going to do it anyway, so I may as well share it with everyone else.
Exactly. I know that being organized is the key. I think, to keeping on top of everything.
Organized chaos, Kate. Remember that.
Yes.
It's organized chaos.
I know that feeling too. And to finish off, I'd love if you have a quote for us for anything that kind of resonates with you around that kind of grit and grace in life and leadership. Is there a quote that you have?
There is. I do have two. I know that's kind of cheating, but I was thinking about this over the weekend, and in life, I think the one that I've used quite a bit, and probably more so that I'd given new mums, but really it resonates, for anyone when life gets a bit rough, and remember that things aren't going to be like this forever, is "This too shall pass." For me, that really helped me in the early days. As I said, young kids and husband traveling all the time, and just, life, the chaos that life is. So that was kind of, this too shall pass for that side. In leadership, and I will have to read this quote because I always get it a little bit wrong, but I'm sure many out there have seen the TV series Afterlife, and there was a quote that one of the ladies in there said, which just resonated with me a few years ago when I watched it. So it's, "A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in." Now, for me, that really... the impact, knowing that the impact of what we do now may not be felt for many years to come, we need to start doing good now. So like with Pink Elephants, I know that some of the work we're working on now, it'll be 5, 10, 20 years down the track before we see true impact. But if we don't do it, then who will? And someone's got to start. So that really sat with me, that one. So they're probably the two, not one, sorry, that I would share with the community out there.
No, I love that. And I think it's about, realizing that we all can make a difference and create a legacy for the next generation, and a purpose for what we've been through. So, anything we can do to make a difference and help another person so that it has that ripple effect, right? So, everyone that we can show kindness and empathy to will mean that they can keep going, when times are tough, and, and really make a difference for a purpose. That's what I found whenever I've gone through something in my life, I try and find a purpose for the pain. And I believe through getting involved with charity work and volunteering and raising awareness, it helps me feel like it's not for nothing. Like, I don't want to believe any of the pain I've gone through in my life is for no purpose. Like, and so if I can help at least one other woman not feel alone, then that's what I'll do. And that's why I do be very open about my journey to try and help other women too. And it's amazing once you open up, how many actually open up too. That normally.
Yeah. That's what we need, though. And I mean, you're a great advocate for Pink Elephants, Kate, and we thank you for all that you do and the kind of conversations you start. And I am sorry that you are part of this club. You're a wonderful individual, and we hope all the best for you for the future.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really appreciate your time today and this chat. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you, Kate. It's been really eye-opening. Thank you.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Thank you so much for being part of this meaningful Grit and Grace podcast today. It's been quite a personal topic for myself, but I hope it helps other women feel not alone. Thank you for watching. Please share this with your network. Anyone that likes and share and views this in the next few weeks, we are going to donate up to $300 to Pink Elephant. So it'll be $1 for every like or view. So if you are able to share this, spread the word and get connected, and check out Pink Elephant on Google as well as Facebook and social media. And you can connect with Amanda on LinkedIn too.